I can't have children, Lisa said quietly. For a moment, the only sound inside the black SUV was the rain ticking against the windshield. She expected silence, maybe pity, maybe the door opening and a cold goodbye. Instead, Marco Conti smiled. Not a cruel smile, not a fake one, just a slow, confident curve that made her heartbeat slip. Good, he said, voice low and gravelly. I've got enough for both of us. And right there, before she could even blink, the world she thought she knew began to shift. 12 hours earlier, Lisa Jones was just a tired waitress closing another late shift at a small Italian restaurant on the edge of Brooklyn. She wasn't supposed to stay this long in New York. It was supposed to be a few months. Make rent, pay her sister back, maybe move somewhere quieter. But life had a way of locking her in the same circle of neon signs and noise. That night, she was stacking chairs when the sound of expensive shoes on tile made her freeze. Everyone knew that sound, deliberate, steady, unhurried. Marco Conti had arrived. She didn't need to look to know it was him. The entire room changed temperature when he walked in. Conversations softened, laughter died down, and even the kitchen boys stopped shouting over the fryer. Marco wasn't loud. He didn't have to be. He was power wrapped in quiet, an Italian suit, an expression that didn't beg or bluff, and eyes that looked through people instead of at them. Lisa kept her head down. She wiped the counter twice, then once more for no reason. She didn't make eye contact. That was rule number 1 in a place like this. Don't look at the men who can ruin you. But curiosity had a pulse. And when she finally risked a glance, just one, she saw him, sitting at his usual corner booth, sleeves rolled up, wristwatch catching the dim light. A man who looked like sin and salvation had made a deal. She'd served him 3 times before. He never flirted, never smiled, always tipped heavy, always said thank you, which none of the others ever did. But tonight he wasn't alone. 2 men stood near the door like shadows, watching the room while he talked on the phone. Lisa focused on her tray, pretended not to notice. Still, her stomach knotted. Every time Marco came in, something in her felt unsteady, like he wasn't danger to her, but for her. She was halfway through locking up when the problem started. A drunk investment type, tie loose, ego wide, had decided she owed him a smile. When she didn't give it, he followed her out back into the alley. Hey, come on, sweetheart, just a drink. No. He grabbed her wrist. Don't act like you're better than me. The sound that came next wasn't a punch. It was softer. A breath, a shift in the air. Marco Conti was standing there. He didn't raise his voice, didn't need to. Let go. The man laughed, nervous, stupid. Relax, man, we were just... Marco's hand moved. 2 fingers touched the guy's throat. Just pressure. The man's eyes went wide. His knees buckled. He couldn't breathe. Now, Marco said. The drunk stumbled back, choking on air, and ran. Lisa's heart was racing so hard it hurt. She backed up against the wall, voice shaky. You didn't have to. He put hands on you. That doesn't mean. It means I handle it. His eyes met hers then. Deep, green, unblinking. The kind of look that made time stretch. He wasn't asking for gratitude. He was making a statement. You're safe now, whether you like it or not. She swallowed. Thank you, but I'm fine. He tilted his head slightly. No, you're shaking. I said I'm fine. And I said you're not walking home alone tonight. Before she could argue, he was already walking her to his car, a black SUV parked illegally right in front. Inside, the air smelled like leather and rain. He drove in silence for a while, one hand on the wheel, the other resting loosely near the gear shift. Lisa couldn't stop glancing at his reflection in the window. Sharp jaw, clean beard, calm like he'd seen too much to ever panic again. You always rescue strangers? She asked, trying to sound casual. He smirked. You think you're a stranger, Lisa Jones? Her breath caught. How do you... I make it my business to know who works near me. Near him, not for him. She wasn't sure which was scarier. Look, she said finally, you don't have to do this. I don't date. I don't... He cut her off softly. Who said anything about dating? Then why are you... Because nobody touches what's mine. Her pulse skipped. I'm not yours. Not yet. She turned to the window, heart pounding, unsure if she should be angry or terrified, or both. After a few minutes, she exhaled and said almost to herself, "You shouldn't waste your time anyway." He glanced at her. "Why's that?" "Because I can't give anyone what they want." "What do I want?" "A family." She laughed bitterly. "Kids. Normal life. I can't have any of that. I can't have children, and men like you don't exactly sign up for broken things." The car slowed, then stopped. He turned toward her fully. "Say that again." She frowned. "What?" "The part where you said you can't have children." She hesitated, embarrassed. "I can't." He studied her for a long second. That unreadable expression that made her feel seen and undressed all at once. Then he smiled faintly. "Good," he said. "I've got enough for both of us." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. He turned the car back on, started driving again, as if he hadn't just rearranged her entire sense of worth. When they reached her apartment, she sat there for a second, unsure whether to thank him or run. He leaned slightly closer. "Inside safe?" "Yes." "Anyone waiting for you?" "No." "Then go. Lock the door. And Lisa." She looked back. "Next time someone touches you," he said, "you call me first." Her pulse fluttered. "I don't have your number." He smiled again, slow and sure. "You will." She stepped out into the drizzle, head spinning. She barely noticed the car that turned the corner and stopped across the street. No lights, no engine. Just there. Watching. Lisa climbed the steps to her building, keys trembling in her hand. The SUV pulled away, taillights disappearing into the night. And from the darkness across the road, a camera lens clicked once. No flash, no sound, just one photo. Lisa Jones and Marco Conti. Together. Lisa felt watched before she even opened her eyes. It started as a weight, not touch, not sound. Just pressure. The kind that sits between your shoulder blades and won't let you breathe normal. Her phone said 9:14 a.m. Her rent was due in 2 days. Her bank account was at 183.41. Her head was full of him. Good. I've got enough for both of us. She lay there on her back for a full minute, staring at the ceiling of her tiny studio, replaying that line, replaying the way he said it, steady, like it wasn't a joke and wasn't pity. Like it was already decided. Like he had already placed her somewhere in his world, and she hadn't even agreed to enter it. Then the pressure between her shoulder blades tightened again. She got up, padded barefoot to the window, and lifted the blinds just enough to see the street. There it was. Black sedan, dark tint, engine running, parked across from her building. Not NYPD, not Uber, not delivery. Wrong posture, wrong glass. Whoever was inside wasn't scrolling their phone. They were sitting upright, watching. Her stomach dropped. No way. No, no. She had done nothing. She served drinks, and minding her own business wasn't illegal. This had nothing to do with her. Except it did, and she already knew why. She was in his car last night. Someone took a picture. And now, someone else wanted to know what she is to him. Her throat tightened. She let the blinds fall. For a long second, she just stood there with one hand braced on the windowsill and the other over her mouth, breathing through a kind of fear she hadn't felt before. Not normal fear, not city fear, not don't walk home alone at 2 a.m. Fear. This was different. This was, you are now a piece on a board you didn't ask to stand on. She showered fast, dressed faster, and told herself she was being dramatic. Black jeans, black t-shirt, black zip hoodie, hair up, no makeup, nothing to look at. Nothing to notice. That was how she survived New York. Be small, be polite, be nothing. She grabbed her keys, her backpack, shoved the pepper spray in her pocket, and headed for the door. Then she stopped, because her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her heart kicked. She swallowed, opened it. You don't open your door until you tell me you're not alone. She stared, then typed back. Who is this? The answer came in less than 2 seconds. "Sweetheart, don't do that." Her chest went tight. Heat spilled down her neck. She didn't need his name to recognize him. "How did you get my number?" "I asked for it." She almost rolled her eyes. "Asked. Right. Are you tracking me?" "Yes." She blinked, stared at the word. That was it. No apology, no excuse. No, sorry if that's weird. Just yes. Her fingers flew, anger waking up. "You can't just—" Another buzz cut her off. "There's a car across your building, black. Don't go near it. Wait for me." Lisa froze. Her eyes went to the door. Then back to the phone. Then to the door again. "How do you know that?" "Because if I can see you, they can see you. And I'm faster than they are." Her hand shook. "Who are they?" The reply took longer this time. Almost 15 seconds. People who shouldn't be staring at a woman who works nights and minds her own business. "Stay inside." She swallowed. "Stay inside." "No, no, absolutely not." She typed, "I have to go to work." "You're not going to work." Her jaw clenched. "I'll get fired." "No, you won't." And then, 5 seconds later, "Because your boss now works for me." Her stomach actually dropped. What does that even mean? Her boss works for him? How many people work for him? No. She didn't want that answer. Another text came through immediately after, like he knew she was about to spiral. "I'm 2 minutes out. When I call, open. Nobody else. Understand me?" Her thumb hovered. "This is insane. This is insane. This is how girls end up dead in true crime documentaries. This exact moment right here." But she remembered last night in the alley. The way Marco didn't yell, didn't posture, didn't act like a show. Just 2 fingers against the throat of the man who grabbed her, and that whole situation ended in under 4 seconds. She remembered the way he'd said, "Not yet," when she told him she wasn't his. She remembered the way he'd put the word mine in the air like it already belonged to her. Lisa typed one word. "Okay." Then she locked the door again, even though she'd already locked it. She paced. Her heart wouldn't slow down. Her mind wouldn't either, because she understood something and she hated that she understood it so fast. Being seen with Marco Conti had consequences. Everyone said his name with a kind of whisper. Some said boss, some said problem, some said the reason certain people are still breathing. He had a reputation that sounded like 2 different men stitched together, the one who could make you disappear, and the one who quietly paid a month's rent for the dishwasher whose kid was in the hospital. Nobody in that life was just a criminal. Power never lived clean. Her phone started ringing. She jumped, then grabbed it. "Hello?" His voice filled the line. Calm, warm, like hands on her shoulders, steadying her. "Open the door, sweetheart." Just 3 words in, and her knees felt weak. She undid the latch. Chain. Deadbolt. Then she opened. He was already in the hallway. Dark jacket, gray t-shirt, black jeans, broad shoulders, the kind of presence that made the air feel heavier. Behind him, 2 men stood back, not looking at her, scanning both ends of the corridor with that alert stillness that said they weren't just friends. They were security. For him. Or now. For her. Her voice came out softer than she meant. "You really shouldn't be here." "I disagree," he said. He stepped inside without asking if he could, and she didn't stop him. She wasn't sure she could have, even if she tried. Up close, in daylight, he looked different. Not prettier, rougher. There were tiny cuts along his knuckles, the kind that didn't come from typing. A faint bruise along his jaw at the edge of his beard, the kind you only saw on men who solved problems with their hands. His eyes were green but not bright, deep, watchful. He looked around her tiny place like it offended him. "This is it?" he asked. She bristled. "It's what I can afford." His jaw flexed. "Not anymore." "Excuse me? Pack a bag." Her laugh was instant and sharp. "I'm not going anywhere with you." "Yes," he said. It wasn't loud. It wasn't a threat. It was just certainty, Like he was saying, the sky is blue or that wall is white. She crossed her arms. I don't even know you. Marco's eyes flicked to her mouth and back. That's not true. Heat shot up her neck. We talked for 20 minutes. I know you don't sleep enough, he said evenly. I know your rent's too high, your fridge is mostly instant noodles and off-brand cereal, and you lock your door like somebody tried it before. Her stomach turned. He didn't say it like judgment. He said it like evidence. Then he added, slower, lower. And I know you told someone last night that you can't have children, and I watched your face like you were waiting to be dropped on the sidewalk for saying it. Her chest hurt. Don't, she whispered. He stepped closer, close enough that she had to tilt her head to keep his eyes. Don't what? Don't act like you care. His jaw ticked once. I don't act, Lisa. Her breath shook. She hated that he could do this. She hated that, in a single sentence, he could pull something out of her no one had ever even tried to reach. Why am I packing a bag? She asked quietly. Because you were photographed, he said. And that photograph is worth money to people I don't like. Her mouth went dry. Photographed? With you? He nodded once. I didn't ask for that. I know. I didn't. We're not. I know, he said again, calm, steady. They don't care. Her throat felt tight. Who are they? People who think the best way to pull a man's throat open, he said mildly, is not with a gun, but with a woman he can't walk away from. Her heart stopped. The room felt smaller. I am not, she said slowly, someone you can't walk away from. Marco just watched her for a moment, expression unreadable. Then very quietly, sweetheart, you really think I'd let 2 cars sit outside your place if you were? She swallowed, hard. 2 cars, not 1. She hadn't even noticed the second. God. He kept going. Here's what happens next. You grab a few things, clothes, anything you need. You're going to stay at one of my apartments on the east side until I find out who passed that picture. She shook her head. No. He lifted an eyebrow. No? You can't fix everything by dragging me into your world. She moved past him, pacing because if she stood still, she was going to come apart. I'm not yours. I'm not your problem. I don't belong to whatever this is. I don't want this. Do you understand me? I don't want this. He didn't flinch. He just watched her. Then he said, that's not how this works. Her head snapped up. Excuse me? You're thinking like a normal person, he said. You think you get to choose whether or not you're involved. You don't anymore. Anger lit in her chest. So what, you own me now? That did it. He moved. Not fast, not aggressive. Just close. One step, then another. Until she backed right into the wall and his palm went flat beside her head. He didn't touch her. He boxed her in with presence, not hands. His voice dropped. Listen to me. You're not mine because I said so. You're mine because somebody else decided your leverage. That's it. That's all it takes in this life. One picture, one rumor. You're in it. I can't take that back. She swallowed. He leaned in just an inch more. His breath warmed her cheek. But I can make sure you survive it. That's what you're packing a bag for. Her pulse wouldn't slow down. His eyes flicked down. He noticed. You scared? He asked softly. She let out a shaky sound that wasn't quite a laugh. Are you serious? He nodded once. Good. Stay scared. It'll keep you alert. Then, as if he hadn't just pinned her soul to the wall with his voice, he stepped back like nothing happened, looked around her place again and said, Where's your bag? Her mouth opened and closed. Top of the closet. Get it. She should have said no again. She didn't. Something in her had already made a decision her mouth hadn't caught up to yet. She pulled the step stool over, grabbed the old backpack she used when she couch hopped 2 years ago, and started throwing clothes into it with hands that wouldn't stop shaking. Underwear, jeans, 2 t-shirts, 1 sweater, phone charger, toothbrush, anxiety. He watched her the whole time, quiet, focused, protective, in a way that didn't feel romantic yet. It felt territorial. No one had ever been territorial about her before. When she was almost done, she paused. "How long?" "For now," he said. "That's not an answer. I don't give answers when I don't have them." That was almost funny. Most men lied to make her feel better. He refused to lie even if the truth scared her. She zipped the bag. He nodded once, approving. "Shoes. I'm wearing shoes. Better ones." She blinked. "What's wrong with these?" He glanced down. "Sweetheart, if you need to run in those, you're dead in 10 seconds. Her stomach flipped. She grabbed her worn black sneakers from under the chair. He picked up her backpack like it weighed nothing and held out his free hand. "Phone," he said. She frowned. "Why?" "So I can put my number in it, and so my men can kill your location when we get in the car." Her eyes widened. "Kill my... Wait, my location is on?" His eyes cut to her. "Everything in your life is on, Lisa. That's the problem." Her cheeks heated. She handed him her phone. He typed something fast, swiped, did something she didn't understand, and then gave it back. Under her contacts, a new entry sat there. Marco. No last name. He didn't need one. He also texted himself from her phone. He tucked his own phone away. "Now I've got you." The words shouldn't have felt like comfort. They did. He jerked his chin toward the door, and one of the men in the hallway moved first, checking the stairwell, the corners. The other stayed behind Marco, scanning. Everything about this was too much, too intense, too illegal, too not her life. And yet, when they stepped out of her building and into the cloudy late morning light, Lisa felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Not safe, protected. It wasn't the same thing. Safe was an empty feeling. Safe was, no one notices you, so no one hurts you. Protected was different. Protected meant someone would burn the world if it touched you wrong. The black sedan across the street was gone. But another car, different one, sat at the corner pretending not to sit at the corner. Marco saw it. His jaw barely moved. He opened the SUV door for her with the kind of old-school courtesy that didn't match the guns she was sure were hidden under his seat. "Lisa," he said, waiting. Her body reacted before her brain did. She climbed in. He slid in beside her, not in the driver's seat, in the back. One of his men took the wheel. The other got in up front. The doors shut. The locks clicked. Her voice shook. "Where are we going?" "One of my places," he said. "How many is one of?" He almost smiled. "Enough." Her pulse kicked. She watched the city pass by through tinted glass. Normal people carried coffee, walked dogs, argued at crosswalks, lived whole lives without thinking about who sat in which black SUV. Her chest hurt. "How old are you?" she asked suddenly. He glanced at her. 36. She swallowed. "And you have kids?" His face changed. Not in a dramatic way, but in a softer, almost careful way. "Yes." Her heart climbed into her throat. "Plural?" "Yes." "How many?" "2." She nodded, trying to breathe like that was normal, like it was casual, like her stomach hadn't just flipped over. "How old?" she forced out. "Luca is 8, he said. "Bella is 5. Bella. The name hit her in a place she didn't know was still open. She stared at her hands. "Where's their mom?" Silence. Her throat closed. "Sorry. I shouldn't have..." "She's gone," he said, just like that. Quiet. Final. No details. No drama. Just an open edge of grief laid on the table. Lisa turned her head toward him. He was looking out the window now, jaw tight, eyes hard. Not angry. Contained. The kind of control that doesn't come from ego. The kind that comes from surviving something you don't talk about. Something in her chest pulled. Not attraction. Not yet. Something else. Understanding. He kept his gaze on the glass when he spoke again. "They're good kids," he said. "Better than I deserve. They don't ask for anything. They just exist, like I'm not poison." Her throat burned. She swallowed, voice low. "You're not poison." He huffed a quiet laugh. "That's not what they tell me." "Who's they?" she whispered. He finally looked at her again. His eyes weren't cold now. They were something else, something that made heat bloom low in her stomach. They, he said, are the people who are about to learn you're not an easy target. Her pulse jumped. Marco? Yes? I don't know how to be around kids, she admitted quietly. I don't know how to do that. I can't. Her throat closed. You heard what I said last night. I can't have children. I don't know how to be around them without feeling like I'm faking something I can't be. He stared at her for a second like she'd just said something in another language. Then he leaned in, voice low. Lisa, listen very carefully. Her breath caught. You don't have to give birth to someone to matter to them, he said. That's a thing weak men tell themselves so they don't have to try. That's not real life. Real life is who shows up. Real life is who stays. Real life is who makes sure you eat and sleep and feel safe enough to close your eyes for 5 minutes. He paused. That's family. Her vision blurred. He didn't stop. And if anyone ever made you feel like you're less of a woman because you can't carry, he added, voice dropping even lower, point them out so I can fix that problem for you. Her mouth parted. You can't just go around threatening to beat up my medical history, she whispered. Finally. The corner of his mouth kicked up. There she is, he murmured. Her cheeks warmed. Shut up. He didn't. He watched her instead. Quiet. Focused. A little softer around the eyes now. Like she wasn't just cargo anymore. Like she wasn't just leverage. Like she was his, in a way he hadn't explained yet. The SUV slowed. They pulled into an underground garage under a building in Manhattan that she had no business even walking past, let alone entering. Marble lobby, private elevator, no doorman, because men like Marco were their own doormen. Her throat tightened. I can't afford to even breathe in here. You're not paying, he said. That's not the point. He actually looked amused. Then what is? She stared at him. Why are you doing this? For the first time since she'd met him, he didn't answer right away. He reached out, and for 1 second she thought he was going to touch her face, and her entire nervous system prepared to self-destruct. But he didn't. He tugged very gently at the sleeve of her hoodie, fixing where it had bunched at her wrist. Then he said, simple, like it was obvious, because last night someone put a hand on what's mine. I don't let that go. Ever. Her heart punched against her ribs so hard it hurt. The elevator opened directly into the apartment. Lisa stepped in and forgot how to move. It wasn't what she expected. She thought, Mafia safe house. She pictured cold steel, empty walls, blackout curtains, a gun on every flat surface, no personality. This wasn't that. This place was lived in. Warm gray walls, big couches with blankets thrown over the back. A couple of kids' drawings stuck to the fridge with magnets. A pink backpack dropped by the kitchen island like somebody came home from school and forgot it there. Her breath hitched. Marco, she whispered. Is this... Do your kids live here? They stay here some nights, he said. Stay. Not visit. Not sometimes. It sounded like this was their place. She walked forward slowly, almost on autopilot. There were little sneakers by the door, a tiny jacket hanging off the back of a chair, crayons in a bowl, cereal on the counter. A half-finished puzzle spread over the coffee table in the living room. Her throat closed around something she didn't have words for. It was too intimate. Not romantic intimate, family intimate. You okay? He asked behind her. Lisa swallowed. Yeah, Her eyes stopped on the backpack. Small, pink, soft straps, glitter unicorn patch. Her hand lifted on instinct. Don't touch that. His voice wasn't sharp. It was tight. She froze. Sorry. He exhaled through his nose. No, you're okay. You can. It's not that. He dragged a palm over his jaw. Bella gets mad when people move her stuff. She's 5. Everything is important. Something in Lisa's chest flipped. Bella, she said softly. His eyes went to her face at the way she said the name. Yeah, he said quietly. Bella. Lisa tried to smile, but her mouth wobbled. That's pretty. She's trouble, he said, but she could hear it. The warmth, the pride, the ache underneath both. Lisa blinked fast. She couldn't look at the backpack anymore, not without feeling something she wasn't ready to name, because that right there, that tiny glittery unicorn little girl backpack, was the proof. He hadn't lied. He really did have enough for both of us. He really did have kids. He really did have love already in his life. And he was still looking at her like she wasn't a burden but an answer. She forced herself to breathe. Her voice came out quiet. Marco? Yeah. What happens if people find out I'm here, with you, with them? He didn't blink. Then I make sure anyone who says your name in the wrong tone doesn't get to say anything again. Her stomach turned. That sounds like you're going to handle it, he said. She stared at him. You mean kill them? He held her gaze. He didn't confirm it. He didn't deny it. Her chest felt tight for a different reason now. Because this was the part no one tells you in those fantasy stories women watch at 2 a.m. The ones where the dangerous man softens for you and buys you flowers and calls you princess. This was the real part. You don't get a man like Marco Conti without also getting the world Marco Conti comes from. You don't get his protection without also being the reason he might go to war. She swallowed. Marco, yes, sweetheart. I don't want anyone hurt because of me. Something in his face went hard. Listen to me. His voice dropped. This is not because of you. This is because of me. Someone wanted leverage. They tried to make you leverage. That's on them. That's on me. Never on you. Her throat burned. She shook her head. You keep saying mine. You're going to get yourself killed if you keep talking like that. He stepped in again, closer than before, close enough that she could feel heat coming off his chest, close enough that she had to tip her head back to see his eyes. Lisa, he said quietly, do you know what you are to me right now? Her heart hammered. No, she whispered. That's the point, he said. They don't either, and that's why they're stupid. She blinked. I don't understand. You will, he said. And then, before she could ask him what the hell that was supposed to mean, his phone buzzed. He didn't look away from her when he answered. Yeah. A beat of silence. Another. His jaw locked. His eyes stopped being warm. Where? He asked, voice suddenly like ice. Another pause. I said where, he repeated, slower. Lisa felt her stomach sink. He ended the call without saying goodbye. Marco, she whispered. What happened? He slid the phone into his jacket. His expression was calm. Too calm. That kind of calm that doesn't mean everything is fine. It means I can't show you fire right now. His voice was even when he spoke. Nothing you need to worry about. Her chest tightened. Don't do that. Don't shut me out like I'm decoration. That got his eyes. Good. Now they flared. Dark. Proud. My picture, he said quietly. From last night. It's out. Her mouth went dry. Out where? In the wrong group chat. She frowned. Okay, I don't... It means, he said, they've already decided you're mine. Her heart pounded. But I'm not... He cut her off, stepping even closer, his voice low and final. Doesn't matter what's true. It matters what they believe. And right now, they believe you belong to me. Her breath caught. And because of that, he continued, they think you're how they get to me. Which means, Lisa. He reached up, and this time he did touch her. 2 fingers under her chin, tilting her face up so she couldn't look away. His touch wasn't rough. It was possessive in a way that made her knees feel weak. You don't leave my side until I say so. Her pulse was everywhere. Marco, she whispered, not sure if it was a protest or a plea. Yes, sweetheart. Does this mean I'm in danger? His eyes didn't blink. It means if anyone comes near you again, I go to war. The room felt suddenly very small. She swallowed. For me? He didn't hesitate. For my family. Her heart slammed so hard she swayed. She opened her mouth, to argue, to deny, to say she didn't belong in that word. But she never got the chance. Because from the hallway a small voice called out, soft and sleepy. Daddy? Lisa went still. Her eyes widened. Oh God. He has them here, right now. Marco's eyes didn't leave Lisa's face. Something changed in them. Not softer exactly. Deeper. Warmer. Like he was letting her see a part of him no one else got. Then he turned his head toward the hallway and said, gentle in a way that made Lisa's chest ache, Yeah, Bella. I'm here. Tiny footsteps padded across the hardwood. A little girl in an oversized t-shirt appeared in the doorway, hair messy, eyes half open, thumb in her mouth. She blinked at Marco first. Then at Lisa. Then back at Marco. Who's that? The little girl mumbled around her thumb. And in that instant, every nerve in Lisa's body lit up, because she realized something so huge she almost forgot to breathe. This wasn't a game. This wasn't pretend. This wasn't dangerous man flirting with waitress for fun. Marco Conti had just brought her into his real life, in front of his child. No one does that casually. No one. Marco's answer was simple, calm, direct. She's ours for now, he said. Ours. Not mine. Ours. Lisa's knees almost gave out. Bella stared at Lisa for another beat, then walked right up to her like 5-year-olds do when they haven't learned fear yet and asked, very serious, Are you staying for breakfast? Lisa opened her mouth. Nothing came out. She couldn't talk. She couldn't breathe. Her vision blurred. Marco watched her, and there was something like victory in his eyes, but not cruel. It was softer. Male. Deep. The look of a man who had just decided something permanent in his head. Lisa swallowed hard, forced air into her lungs, and nodded. Yeah, she whispered, voice shaking. Yeah, I'm staying. Bella smiled, satisfied, and ran for the kitchen like that settled it. Lisa stood there in the quiet that followed, heart in her throat, mind spinning, body buzzing like every line of her life had just been redrawn in permanent ink. Finally she managed, in a whisper that barely made it out. Marco, what did you just do? He didn't break eye contact. He didn't look sorry. He just said, in a tone so sure it scared her and calmed her at the same time. I told my world you're under my name, he said. Now we see who's stupid enough to test it. She stared at him. Her chest was tight, her hands were shaking. And for the first time, Lisa understood something cold and impossible and real. Last night, she was a waitress who thought she had nothing to offer. Right now, she was the reason a Mafia boss was ready to go to war, and she had no idea what that war was going to look like. Lisa didn't sleep that night, not with the way the house creaked, not with the way her heart refused to slow, and definitely not with the sound of soft breathing from the 2 small bedrooms down the hall. She lay on the couch, wrapped in a blanket that smelled faintly of detergent and something warm, cinnamon, maybe, and stared at the ceiling. Every few minutes she'd hear footsteps, a door opening, Marco's voice, low and steady, talking to someone on the phone. He never raised it. He didn't have to. She closed her eyes and saw the image again. The little girl in the hallway, thumb in her mouth, asking if she was staying for breakfast, and Marco's voice behind her. She's ours for now. Her stomach fluttered every time she replayed it, not because of what it meant to him, but because of what it suddenly meant to her. She hadn't realized how hungry she'd been for a voice like that, steady, protective, sure. She'd built her life out of quiet, out of self-defense, out of pretending she didn't need anyone to pick her up if she fell. But now, she wasn't so sure she could go back to that. The smell of coffee woke her before sunrise. She sat up, hair a mess, sweater sliding off one shoulder. Marco was in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, pan sizzling. Morning, he said without turning. Morning, she echoed, voice rough. He nodded toward the counter. Coffee's there. Sugar's in the jar. Don't touch the white one. That's for the kids. She blinked. You make different sugar. They think powdered sugar and hot chocolate is a luxury. I'm not about to ruin that illusion. It almost made her laugh. Almost. She poured herself a cup, grateful for the warmth. You cook? Sometimes. For yourself? For them. She leaned on the counter, watching him. He moved like someone who wasn't used to rushing, every motion measured, deliberate. She noticed the scars on his forearm when he flipped a pancake. They weren't new. Do you ever sleep? She asked quietly. He glanced at her. No. Why not? He shrugged. Men like me don't get rest. We get silence if we're lucky. There was something about the way he said it that made her chest ache. He slid a plate in front of her. Pancakes, eggs, fruit cut into cubes that were too neat to have been done by accident. Eat, he said. I'm not hungry. You are. I'm not. He set the fork in her hand. Eat. It wasn't a command. It was care disguised as one. She sighed and took a bite just to shut him up, and hated how good it was. This is unfair, she muttered. He smirked. What? You're not supposed to be able to cook. You're supposed to be, I don't know, yelling into a phone, smoking cigars, not... She gestured helplessly, making pancakes shaped like hearts. He chuckled low in his throat. Bella insists. She says breakfast tastes better when it's shaped like love. Her heart skipped. He said it so casually, like love wasn't something dangerous, like it was just normal. She wanted to believe that. The door down the hall creaked open. Luca appeared first, hair sticking up, clutching a stuffed dinosaur by the neck. Bella followed, dragging her blanket, eyes still half shut. Daddy, Luca mumbled. She's still here. Marco ruffled his son's hair. She is. Does that mean she's family now? Bella asked, climbing onto a chair. Lisa almost choked on her coffee. Marco's mouth curved. She's, helping out for a while. Bella turned to Lisa, serious. Do you know how to braid hair? Lisa blinked. Not well. That's okay, Bella said cheerfully. Daddy doesn't either. He lifted an eyebrow. Excuse me? She giggled. You make it lumpy. Lisa laughed, the sound surprising even herself. For a brief, impossible moment, the kitchen felt like another world. Like the kind of life she'd stopped letting herself imagine. Coffee, laughter, little voices. Not perfect, but real. And then Marco's phone rang. Everything changed. He looked at the screen, jaw tightening. Go watch cartoons, he told the kids. They obeyed instantly, disappearing into the living room. When he answered, his tone dropped an octave. Talk. Lisa couldn't hear the other side, but she saw his face shift. The calm faded. The quiet turned sharp. Who? He asked. Silence. Where? Long pause. His eyes flicked to the window. Handle it, he said finally, and ended the call. Marco? Lisa asked softly. What happened? He didn't look at her. He just exhaled through his nose. They tried to follow the kids to school. Her blood went cold. What? They didn't get close, he said. My men spotted them. But that's the problem. Someone wants me scared. Someone wants me distracted. Because of me, she whispered. He turned to her then, eyes cutting through the air. No, because of me. They're using you. There's a difference. She shook her head. I shouldn't be here. I'll make it worse. He stepped closer. Leaving makes it worse. You go out there, you're unprotected. They'll use that picture again, twist it, say you're hiding something. It doesn't stop. She blinked back tears. I didn't choose this. I know. Then why are you acting like I did? Because pretending you didn't won't help you survive it. Her hands shook. I don't want to survive it. I want it gone. Marco's voice dropped to a near whisper. That's not how this life works, sweetheart. Once they see your face, you're part of it. She hated that part of her understood. He poured himself a new cup of coffee, took a slow sip, and said, You want to understand something? Come with me. Where? He didn't answer. He led her down the hall to a room she hadn't seen before. When he opened the door, she stopped cold. The walls were covered with photos, maps, names, lines connecting faces, a whole operation laid out like a web. In the corner, a picture of her, from last night, caught in headlights. Her face, half turned toward Marco in the SUV. She covered her mouth. "Oh my God," he spoke quietly. "Every one of these people has something to lose. Every one of them thinks I'm the monster in the story. But here's the truth. I don't start wars. I end them." She looked up at him, eyes wide. "What do they want from you?" "Control. And from me? Proof I can be controlled." Her chest ached. "That's insane." He nodded once. "Exactly." Lisa turned to the wall again. "You can't fight everyone, Marco." He glanced down at her. "I don't have to. I just have to make the first one regret it." She pressed her lips together. "You can't keep doing this forever." "I can until they stop breathing." The way he said it made her shiver. That night after the kids were asleep, Lisa found him outside on the balcony, smoking. The city spread out below, a blanket of lights, the hum of traffic far away. "Do you ever wish it was different?" she asked. He didn't look at her. "Every day." She folded her arms. "Then why stay in it?" He smiled without humor. "Because getting out means dying in front of my kids." She stepped beside him. "You're not the monster they think you are." He flicked ash over the railing. "Doesn't matter what they think. It matters what I can protect." Lisa studied him. The faint stubble, the tired eyes, the scars he didn't bother hiding. For a man who looked unbreakable, he carried himself like someone one breath away from collapsing. "Do you understand what I am to you?" he asked suddenly. Her heart jumped. "What?" "To them," he said. "I'm leverage. But to you?" He turned, met her gaze. "I'm the reason you're still breathing." The honesty in it made her dizzy. She whispered, "That's not fair." "Nothing about me is fair." He took one last drag of the cigarette, crushed it out, and said quietly, "Go inside, Lisa." She shook her head. "Tell me something first." "What?" "Why me?" That stopped him. He stared at her for a long time. The city hummed. The wind moved between them. Then he said almost gently, "Because when I told you I had enough for both of us, you believed me. For a second, you believed me. And that's more than most people ever do." Her breath caught. He started to turn away, then froze. Down on the street, tires screeched. Then came the sound no one in his world ever mistakes. Gunfire. 2 sharp pops. 1 long burst. Marco grabbed her before she could react, dragging her behind the wall, hand over her head. "Stay down." Her pulse roared in her ears. "The kids. They're fine. My men are inside." "Marco, what is happening?" He checked his gun, black, compact, worn from use, and peered over the railing. His jaw clenched. Someone just sent a message. "What kind of message?" she whispered. He turned his head toward her, and for the first time since she'd met him, she saw real fury in his eyes. "The kind," he said, "that ends with bodies." Her stomach twisted. "You can't—" He cut her off. "You think I let people shoot at my family and walk away?" She froze at the word again. Family. He wasn't even thinking when he said it now. It was instinct. "Marco," she said softly, "you'll get yourself killed." He looked at her, voice low, dangerous, intimate. "Then at least you'll know someone died protecting you." By the time the noise stopped, the city sounded normal again. Cars, horns, sirens far away. But the quiet between them wasn't the same. She realized then she wasn't watching a criminal. She was watching a man who had built a life out of keeping people alive, even if it meant losing himself in the process. She wanted to tell him to stop. She wanted to tell him she was terrified. But all she said was, "What happens now?" He holstered the gun, looked at her and said, "Now we find out who thought they could shoot at my home." Lisa's voice trembled. "And if it's someone you know?" He smiled, not kindly. "Then I bury someone I used to trust." That night she couldn't shake his words. And when she finally closed her eyes on the couch, she dreamed of small hands, a pink backpack, and a man with green eyes whispering, "You don't have to give birth to someone to matter to them." But when she woke up, the seat beside her was empty, and the door was left open. Marco Conti was gone, and outside, the street smelled like smoke. Lisa woke to silence. No Marco, no coffee smell, only the soft sound of cartoons from down the hall. She found Luca and Bella sitting on the rug, one stacking blocks, the other half wrapped in a blanket. "Where's your dad?" she asked. "Gone," Luca said flatly. "He said stay here, lock the door, don't open for anyone but you or Vince." "Who's Vince?" "Our uncle," Bella said. "But not blood." Lisa's pulse spiked. Marco was gone before sunrise. Whatever happened last night wasn't over. "Are you his girlfriend?" Bella asked suddenly. Lisa blinked. "It's complicated." "Complicated means dangerous," Luca muttered. Bella snuggled against Lisa's side. "If you stay, he sleeps." Those 5 words crushed her. She wrapped her arms around the girl. "Then I'm staying." Lisa made breakfast, lumpy waffles instead of heart-shaped pancakes. It didn't matter. Bella smiled. Luca ate in silence. Normal moments in a life that wasn't normal. Her phone buzzed. 3 missed calls. "Marco." She called back instantly. "Sweetheart," he said, voice calm. "Where are you?" "Handling something." "Are you okay?" "Yes." "You're lying." He almost laughed. "Maybe." "Marco." "It's done," he interrupted. "They won't follow my kids again." Her grip tightened. "What does that mean?" "Don't worry about it, I'm coming home." The word home made her heart twist. "Listen carefully," he said. "No one opens that door. Not even if they say my name. Say it." "I won't open." "That's my girl." Her knees almost gave out. An hour later, the door opened. He walked in like a storm, wrapped in control, sleeves rolled up, eyes scanning the room. The kids ran to him. He lifted Bella, pressed a kiss to her hair, and looked at Lisa. "See, I told you I'd come home." She tried to steady her voice. "You did. You kept them safe. You should tell me what you did." He shook his head. "You don't want that in your head." He was right. She didn't. "Daddy, can she stay forever?" Bella asked. Marco looked straight at Lisa. "She'll stay, for now." Her heart skipped. Later he brought her into the room full of maps and photos, and there it was. A new picture of her. Clear, close. Sitting in his SUV, looking at him like she belonged there. "What is this?" she whispered. "Leverage." "Who took it?" "Someone who wants to make me look weak." Her voice shook. "Because it looks like you care about me?" He met her eyes. "Exactly." He stepped closer. "You want the truth, Lisa? They're saying you replaced my wife." Lisa froze. "Your wife?" "Elena," he said quietly. "She died in a car meant for me. Bella was in the back seat. She lived. Elena didn't." Tears blurred Lisa's eyes. "I'm sorry." He shook his head. "They're using her memory to hurt me, spreading lies that I traded her for a waitress who can't give me another child." The words hit like knives. He continued, voice low and dangerous. "They're calling you nothing, so I'm going to make sure they learn how wrong that is." "How?" she whispered. "By making sure they understand what you are to me." Her heart pounded. "And what am I?" He leaned close. "Mine." The word landed deep. "Marco," she breathed. "If they think you're mine," he said, "they'll stop testing. But I need you to understand, this isn't about safety anymore." Her eyes burned. "You think claiming me fixes it?" He smirked faintly. "It's not pretending, sweetheart. It's just saying out loud what's already true." She trembled. "You don't even know what I've been through." He tilted his head. "Then tell me." Her voice broke. "My ex, Tyler, and left when I told him I couldn't have children. Said I wasn't a real family. My own mother agreed." Something snapped behind Marco's eyes. "Where is he?" "Don't," she whispered. "It doesn't matter." "It matters to me." Why? Because nobody talks about you like that and keeps breathing. Her throat closed. You can't fix it. He leaned in, voice rough. Watch me. Her tears finally fell. He caught one with his thumb. No one ever makes you apologize for that again. You hear me? She nodded, shaking. Say it. I hear you. Good girl. Her heart stuttered. Marco. What? You don't even know what you're doing to me. He smiled faintly. Yes, I do. She touched his face, trembling. I would have loved her. Your wife. He froze. For a man who never blinked under threat, that line broke him. Lisa. He warned softly. I would have loved her. She said again, eyes wet. And I already. Careful. He murmured. Why? Because if you finish that sentence, I'm not letting you go. Her pulse fluttered. And if I wasn't planning to go? He kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was everything they hadn't said, all the grief and want tangled together. When he finally pulled back, he whispered against her lips. That's not temporary. Then his phone buzzed. He read the message. His face changed. Marco? She asked. Tyler Reed, he said quietly. They grabbed him. Lisa froze. My ex? He nodded once. They want to trade him. For you. Her breath left her body. No. Yes. She shook her head. I'll go. Stop, he said, sharp. You don't fix this. You don't walk into their trap. He dies because of me. I handle it. Not you. Tears burned her eyes. But, he grabbed her face again, forcing her to look at him. He's alive right now because I allow it. You understand? She swallowed. Marco, say it. I hear you. Good. He pressed his forehead to hers. You belong to me now. Not to him. Her body went weak. And if you don't come back? He smiled faintly. Then I wasn't the man I said I was. But I will come back. Nobody takes what's mine and keeps breathing. He kissed her once more, hard, final, and walked out the door. Lisa stood there shaking, heart in her throat, realizing two things at once. She'd stopped being afraid of being broken, and started being afraid of what a man like Marco Conti would do in her name. The apartment felt wrong without him. Too still. Too quiet. Lisa couldn't stop pacing. Every tick of the clock was another second Marco was out there, maybe fighting, maybe bleeding, and she had no idea if he'd come back. Luca sat on the couch building something that looked like a fortress. Bella colored on the floor beside him. Are you scared? Bella asked suddenly. Lisa forced a smile. A little. That's okay, Bella said simply. Daddy says being scared means you still care. Lisa swallowed the lump in her throat. That was exactly what she was afraid of. How much she already cared. Her phone buzzed. A number she didn't recognize. She hesitated, then answered. Lisa Jones? The voice was male. Rough, amused. Who is this? She said. Let's call me a businessman, the man said. You're a very valuable piece in an expensive deal. She froze. Where's Marco? He laughed. Busy. He's trying to save your ex-boyfriend. But here's the fun part, sweetheart. He won't get the chance. The line went dead. Her knees almost gave out. Luca looked up. What's wrong? Lisa forced a breath. Nothing, buddy. Everything's fine. It wasn't. She dialed Marco's number. Straight to voicemail. Come on, pick up. She whispered. Please. Across the river, Marco Conti's world was on fire. He sat in a dark warehouse, his men forming a semicircle around a bound, terrified man, Tyler Reed. Tyler was shaking, his lips split, face pale. Please, he begged, voice cracking. I don't even know why I'm here. Marco crouched down in front of him, calm as ever. Then let's talk about what you do know. I don't... Start with the phone call, Marco interrupted. Someone called you, told you to meet them. You went. Why? They said it was about Lisa, Tyler stammered. Marco's voice went quiet. What about her? They said she was in danger, that if I didn't come, they'd hurt her. Marco smiled, the kind of smile that never reached his eyes. And now you realize, he said softly, they weren't after you, they were after me. Tyler blinked through tears. Please, I didn't. Marco stood, brushing dust off his suit. You didn't have to. You were bait, that's all. He turned to his men. Keep him breathing, for now. One of them nodded. Boss, they're expecting you to negotiate. Marco's jaw flexed. Then they've forgotten who they're dealing with. Back in the apartment, Lisa tried to distract the kids with cartoons, but every sound made her jump. She kept glancing at the door, praying for the knob to turn. Finally, after what felt like hours, it did. The lock clicked. He stepped inside. Still alive, still steady, but the air around him felt heavier, darker. Blood dotted his knuckles. His shirt was torn. His eyes, sharp, cold, softened only when they found her. Marco, she whispered, rushing forward. You're okay. I told you I would be. What happened? He brushed past her, dropped his jacket on a chair. Handled. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. She followed him into the kitchen. Marco, tell me the truth. He turned, leaned against the counter, arms crossed. Truth? The man they took is alive. The men who took him aren't. Her breath hitched. I told you, he said evenly. You don't negotiate with me. Lisa stared at him. You killed them. He didn't blink. I protected my family. Her throat tightened. That's not the same thing. He stepped closer. In my world, it is. She wanted to argue. She wanted to yell. But then she saw the faint tremor in his hand, the bruise on his cheek, the blood on his sleeve. He hadn't come back untouched. He'd come back barely holding himself together. She reached out before she could stop herself. You're hurt. He caught her wrist gently. Not where it matters. Her voice trembled. You scare me. I know. But I don't want you to stop. That made him pause. His grip on her wrist loosened. Say that again. She shook her head, flustered. Forget it. No, he said softly. I heard you. He walked past her into the living room. The kids were asleep on the couch. He picked up the fallen blanket and covered them. The smallest gestures always broke her more than the violence. Marco, she whispered, they'll come for you after this. He looked at her over his shoulder. Then let them. You can't fight everyone. I don't need to. Just the next one. She swallowed hard. And me? What happens to me now? He walked closer, stopped just inches away. You stay close. You don't walk alone. You don't take a step without one of my men knowing where you are. That's not living. It's surviving. He lowered his voice. You think I wanted this life, Lisa? You think I dreamed about growing up to count enemies instead of birthdays? I didn't choose it. But I'll use it to keep what's mine safe. Her heart pounded. And what exactly is yours? He didn't hesitate. You, them, everything under this roof. The words hit deep. She wanted to tell him it wasn't that simple, that she was broken, infertile, that she couldn't give him what he deserved. But every time she tried to say it, his eyes told her he already knew, and he didn't care. Later that night, after the kids were asleep again, Lisa found him on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. Was it worth it? She asked quietly. He didn't turn. What? The blood. He exhaled smoke. Ask me that again tomorrow when you're still alive. She leaned on the railing beside him. I didn't ask for any of this. He looked at her then. Neither did I. For a moment they just stood there. Two people who didn't belong in the same world, breathing the same air anyway. Lisa's voice was soft. I thought I was too broken to be loved. He shook his head. You're not broken. You're just waiting for someone who knows how to hold the sharp edges. She blinked hard. You think that's you? I don't think, he said. I know. He stepped closer, brushing his thumb over her jaw. You said you were scared of me. I am. Good. Fear keeps you alive. But don't confuse fear with danger. I'd never hurt you. Her pulse raced. Then what are we, Marco? He leaned in, voice a whisper against her skin. We're already what they say we are. Her heart slammed. You mean, he nodded. You're mine. She let out a shaky laugh. You can't just declare that. I can, he said. And I just did. She stared at him, searching for something human behind the authority. And there it was, faint, fragile, but real. You're not alone, you know, she said softly. You don't have to do all of this alone. He smiled a little, tired and genuine. I know. Then stop fighting everyone. Let someone fight for you for once. His eyes softened. You volunteering? Maybe. He reached out, slid his hand around the back of her neck, and pulled her in until their foreheads touched. I don't know what I did to deserve you, he whispered. You didn't, she said. And that's the point. He huffed a quiet laugh. You talk too much. Then make me stop. He did. The kiss wasn't violent this time. It was steady, unhurried, the kind that made her knees weak because it wasn't about claiming anymore. It was about belonging. When he finally pulled back, he said, You wanted to know what happens now? She nodded. Now, he murmured, you stop doubting me. You stop calling yourself can't. You stop pretending you don't have a family. Her voice broke. You think I have one? He brushed his thumb across her lips. You already do. She smiled through tears. And what happens next? He kissed her again, slower this time. Next, we build something they can't touch. The city was quiet outside. Inside, 2 sleeping children, a woman who'd stopped running, and a man who finally had a reason not to burn everything down. For the first time, Lisa believed him. He really did have enough for both of them. Lisa had never felt quiet like this. Not the empty kind, not the lonely kind, the full kind. The apartment was dim, city light leaking in through the blinds in thin lines. Luca had finally passed out on the couch, one arm over his eyes, his toy dinosaur trapped under his chest. Bella had fallen asleep on Lisa's lap, cheek pressed against her thigh, tiny hand holding Lisa's hoodie like she was afraid it would disappear if she let go. Marco was in the doorway, leaning against the frame, watching them, watching her with them. Like that sight alone was enough to pull the tension out of his shoulders. You should sleep, Lisa whispered. I will, he said quietly. After you. She smiled a little. That's not how sleep works. With me it is. Her heart did that stupid, weak, unstoppable thing again. Are we safe? She asked. For now, he said. It wasn't the answer she wanted. But the way he said it, the way his voice settled into something final, something decided, she believed him. Come here, he said softly. She brushed Bella's hair back with her fingers and stood carefully, lowering the little girl onto the couch beside her brother. She tucked a blanket around both of them and kissed their foreheads. Then she followed Marco down the hall. He didn't take her to the kitchen, not to the room with the maps, not to the balcony. He took her to his bedroom. For a second, her body froze in the doorway. This wasn't a place she'd planned on ever seeing. Not because she didn't want to. Because she hadn't let herself think she was allowed. The room was simple. Dark furniture, clean lines, no nonsense. King bed, low frame. A discarded suit jacket over a chair. A watch on the nightstand. A gun on top of the dresser. Real life. She stood there, hands at her sides, heart beating faster than she could control. Lisa, he said quietly. Yeah. Close the door. Her breath caught. She did. He didn't touch her. Not yet. He just looked at her for a long time. Looked like he was memorizing her. The way she stood in his space. The way her chest rose and fell. The way her eyes met his and didn't look away. Earlier, he said, voice low, you told me I scare you. Her throat worked. Yeah. Do I still? Yes, she whispered. He nodded once. Good, keep that. That keeps you smart. Then he stepped in. Closer, closer, until she had to tilt her chin up. But answer this for me, and don't lie. She swallowed. Okay. He brushed his knuckles along her jaw, slow, like she was something you don't grab, you claim. Are you scared of me hurting you? Her eyes burned. No. Good, he murmured. Marco, and are you scared of how much you already want to stay? Her lips parted, but sound didn't come. His mouth curved. There it is. She tried to look away. He didn't let her. 2 fingers under her chin, gentle, guiding her face back up. Stop doing that, he said quietly. Doing what? She breathed. Trying to act like you're temporary. Her chest tightened. I'm not trying to. Yes, you are. You're standing in my room like you're scared to make a mark. You're talking like this ends in the morning. You're holding yourself like you're still waiting to be told you're not enough. Her throat burned. That's not... Lisa. Her breath stuttered. He lowered his voice. You don't talk about yourself like that in my house. Ever again. Tears hit her eyes so fast it made her angry. Stop. Don't say it like that. You don't get to just fix it with words. I didn't say I was fixing it, he said softly. I said it doesn't exist here. Her chest shook. Come here, he said. She was already there. He slid one hand to the side of her neck, the other to her hip, and pulled her into him. Her body fit like it had been waiting for that exact position. Solid chest, heat, safety, his scent, his steadiness. It hit her so hard her knees weakened. Her forehead landed against his collarbone. For a second, she didn't move. She just breathed. He lowered his mouth to her hair. You okay? She nodded against him. Good, he said quietly. Because we're going to talk now, and I need you clear. That made her lift her head. Talk? Yeah. She huffed out a shaky laugh. That sounds scarier than anything else you've done. It should, he said. He guided her to sit on the edge of the bed. He stayed standing in front of her, broad, steady, thumbs hooked in his belt like he was holding himself back from touching her more than she could handle at once. Today, he said, someone took your ex, tried to trade him for you, told me you're just a waitress and not worth dying for, told me you were nothing. His jaw flexed. They're gone now, she swallowed. Gone like gone? Gone like don't worry about them again, he said evenly. A chill went through her, but it wasn't fear of him. It was fear of what would have happened if she hadn't met him. He went on. You know what they didn't understand? She shook her head. They thought they were threatening me, he said. They thought they were pressing on a wound. They thought if they said you were weak, I'd fold. His eyes locked on hers. They called you nothing, Lisa. Nothing. To my face. Her hands curled in the blanket. And you. I corrected them, he said simply. God. Her voice came out unsteady. You can't do that for me. I already did. You shouldn't. He leaned down, bringing his face level with hers. I'm going to say this once, he said quietly. You don't ever tell me who I'm allowed to love. Her heart slammed, her mouth opened, closed. He'd said love. The world actually steadied around her. Marco, she whispered. You don't mean that. His expression didn't move. Look at me. She did. Do I look like I say things I don't mean? Her chest ached. No. Then believe me. Her eyes filled. I don't know how. His mouth softened. His voice did too. That's okay, I'll show you. She made a helpless sound in her throat. He leaned in and kissed it away. This kiss wasn't the hungry, desperate crash from before. This one was deep, certain, slow. The kind that says you're not an accident in my life. You're an answer. Her hand slid up his chest, gripping his shirt. He groaned low in his throat when she pulled him closer. He broke the kiss with a breath, forehead resting against hers, voice rough. If I keep going, I'm not stopping. You understand me? Heat shot down her spine. Yes. And you're not walking out of this in the morning pretending you're nothing to me. You walk out of this, you walk out mine. Her pulse pounded at her throat. I already am. His eyes flashed. His control slipped. He exhaled, like she'd just knocked the air out of him, and let out a quiet, almost disbelieving laugh. Good girl. Her whole body went weak. Okay, he said softly. Then we're done pretending. She swallowed. What does that mean? It means, he said, straightening, voice turning low and certain. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen now. Not ask. Tell. Her stomach flipped. Okay. 1, he said, lifting a finger. You don't go back to that apartment. Not ever. You live here. Her eyes widened. Marco, He shook his head. Done. It's decided. You're not safe there. Here. You're under my roof. Under my name. Under my people. Nobody touches what's mine. Her throat got tight. And the kids? You expect me to just... 2, he said, cutting her off like he never even heard the hesitation. Luca and Bella don't meet you anymore. They have you. You hear me? They don't get random sitters. They don't wonder who's picking them up. They don't go to sleep hoping I walk back through that door. They have you. Her heart broke and healed at the same time. I'm not trying to replace their mother, she whispered. His jaw flexed. No one replaces Elena, he said. No one touches what she was to them. What she was to me. That doesn't get rewritten. That's permanent. Lisa nodded, eyes shining. Okay. But listen close, he said softly. Family isn't about blood. Family is about who stays. You staying doesn't erase her. You staying means they get to feel safe again. And I need that. I need them to feel safe again. That I need almost destroyed her. Marco, she breathed. I don't know if I'm good enough for that. You are, he said. You don't know that. I do, he said. How? He held her face in both hands, strong but careful, like she was the most breakable thing he'd ever willingly touched. Because Bella slept last night with her hand wrapped in your hoodie, he whispered. Because Luca didn't get up twice to check the locks like he always does. Because I walked in and saw you sitting on my couch with my daughter's head on your lap, and I felt my body calm for the first time in almost a year. Her breath hitched. Marco, you think I don't know what good enough looks like? I know. You are. Tears spilled hot down her face. She tried to wipe them. He beat her to it. And 3, he said, thumb brushing her cheekbone. You stop talking about yourself like you're missing pieces. That ends tonight. Her shoulders shook. I can't give you a baby. I know, he said. I'll never be able to. I know. Her voice cracked. You deserve more than that. You deserve what you had. A real family, a wife, a future. You deserve... Stop, he said softly. Listen. She swallowed. He leaned in, eyes locked on hers. I had a wife, he said quietly. I loved her. I will always love her. That doesn't go anywhere. That's part of me. You don't threaten that. You don't compete with it. You don't replace it. You understand? Her chest ached. Yes. Good. Because now I'm going to tell you something and you're going to hear it all the way down. No arguing. Her hands were shaking. He said, steady. I already have a family. Her stomach twisted. Marco, Luca, Bella. His voice didn't waver. They're mine. That's never changing. You understand? She nodded. And now, he said softly, I'm telling you that you're part of it. Her heart stopped. Her breath caught. Marco. No, he murmured. Listen. Look at me and listen. You keep thinking love is something you earn by producing something. A ring. A baby. Stability. Proof. That's not love. That's a contract. I don't do contracts in my house. I do loyalty. I do protection. I do eat and sleep because I said so. I do. Nobody talks to you like that and keeps their teeth. That's love here. That's what you get. Her eyes filled again. I don't know how to take that. I'll teach you, he said. Her voice was barely there. Why are you doing this? He answered without even pausing. Because you're mine. Heat hit low in her stomach. Say it, he whispered. Her pulse was so loud she could feel it. I'm yours. His eyes went darker. Again. I'm yours, she breathed. Something in him broke in a way that wasn't rage this time. It was relief. He exhaled like his chest finally unlocked. "Yeah," he said quietly. "You are." Her body was shaking now, and not from fear. "Marco," she whispered, voice wrecked. "If I say I love you, is that going to make you run?" His answer was instant. "No," he said. "That's going to make me stay." Her vision blurred. "I love you." The world stopped moving. For a second he said nothing. He didn't smile. He didn't smirk. He didn't tease. He just closed his eyes, breathed in like those words were oxygen, and then he rested his forehead against hers. "Good," he whispered, "because I'm not walking away." Her whole body melted. He kissed her then, slow and deep and certain. It wasn't a first kiss. It wasn't a goodbye kiss. It was a "this is where you live now" kiss. Her hands slid up the back of his neck into his hair. She felt him soften into it. She felt him let go. When he pulled back, his voice was low. "Don't move." He crossed the room to the dresser, opened the top drawer, and pulled something small from the back. When he turned around, her breath caught. It wasn't a velvet ring box from a jewelry store. It was a plain little black case, worn at the edges. He sat beside her on the bed and flipped it open. Inside was a ring. Not flashy, not some giant stone for Instagram. Solid, strong, weighty, like everything about him. "Marco," she whispered, heart pounding in her throat. He didn't get down on one knee. He didn't make it a show. That wasn't him. That would have felt fake. He just held her hand in his, thumb over her pulse, and spoke in that same controlled, steady tone he used when he promised violence. "Lisa Jones," he said quietly. "I don't do temporary. I don't do casual. I don't do for now. I do mine. I do always. You want out, you tell me right now. You say no, I walk out that door and I never put pressure on you again. You say yes, then you wear my name and there's not a man on this coast who's going to misunderstand what that means." She stared at him. Her eyes were wet, her throat tight, her voice almost gone. This wasn't a question about jewelry. This was a life decision in his mouth. This was, "You're my home now. Are you going to take it or not?" Her lips trembled. "Marco." "Yeah, sweetheart. I want to stay." His jaw flexed. "I want," her voice broke. "All of it. You, the kids, the mess, the danger, the kitchen in the morning, your stupid eat voice, the way Bella holds on to me, the way Luca pretends he's not watching the door, the way you make me feel like I'm not missing anything." He swallowed hard. "I want your name," she whispered. For a second, Marco didn't move. Then his eyes went hot and soft at the same time, and his breathing got heavier, and the control he lived behind cracked wide open. He slid the ring onto her finger. It fit. Of course it fit. His hand stayed braced over hers for a long second, like he was making it official by touch alone. Then he lifted her knuckles to his mouth and kissed them. "Done," he said. Just that. Done. Like he just signed something and stamped it and put his body in front of it. Her chest caved in. "Marco," she whispered. He looked up at her, and now, he let the softness show. "Yeah, baby. Baby." That was new. Her heart actually flipped. "Does this mean—" She had to swallow. "Does this mean I'm—" He smirked, slow. "Yeah. Say it." Her cheeks burned. "Lisa Conti." He let out a slow breath through his nose and closed his eyes for a second, like her saying that had just healed something that had been split open too long. When he looked at her again, his voice dropped to a whisper. "That's right." Her vision blurred and she actually laughed, a wet, broken, relieved sound. "Oh my God." He leaned in and kissed her again, and this time the kiss got deeper, hotter, needier, but it wasn't about claim anymore. It was about future. When they finally broke apart, both of them breathing hard, she pressed her forehead to his. "What happens now?" "Now," he murmured. "Yeah. Now I take care of you." Her lips curved. "You kind of already do." "Not like that," he said. Her stomach tightened in the best way. "Oh," he chuckled low. "Yeah. Oh, Her face heated. And after that? He softened again. After that, you sleep in my bed. You wake up in my shirt. You make breakfast with me for our kids. Anyone asks who you are, you say what you just said to me. Lisa Conti. That's it. End of discussion. Her heart pounded. And if someone says I can't give you a family? He smiled then. Gentle. Final. His hand slid to the back of her neck, pulling her in close until his mouth brushed her ear. You let me answer that, he whispered. How would you answer it? She breathed. I'd say. He murmured, voice like a promise. She told me she can't have children. And I said good. I've got enough for both of us. Her eyes stung. He went on, softer now. Because it's true, Lisa. I already have enough. I already have Luca. I already have Bella. I already have what matters. And now? He pulled back just enough to look at her. I have you. Her throat closed. You're going to make me cry again. Good, he said. She let out a watery laugh. That's rude. I'll live. I love you, she whispered. I know. Say it back, she whispered. That made him smile. Not the dangerous one, not the cocky one, the real one. I love you, he said, and he said it like it wasn't fragile, like it wasn't negotiable, like it wasn't something he might take back under pressure. He said it like a vow. Her whole body went warm. Good, she whispered back. Then I'm not scared anymore. Wrong, he said softly. Stay a little scared. It'll keep you smart. Just don't ever be scared of me. I'm not. Good girl. Heat rolled through her. He kissed her again, slow and deep, and eased her back against the mattress like she was made of something rare. For the first time since she met him, she let herself fall without holding back. Morning came soft. Lisa woke in his t-shirt, tangled in his sheets, his arm heavy over her waist, his chest at her back, his breath warm against her neck. For a second, she didn't move. This was her life now. Mine. Ours. She slid out of bed quietly. He didn't fully wake, but his hand caught her hip anyway, instinct, possession even in sleep. She smiled and kissed his knuckles. I'll be right back, she whispered. He let her go. She padded barefoot down the hallway, hair messy, ring on her finger, heart so full it almost hurt. The apartment felt different now. Not borrowed, not his space she was allowed to stand in. Home. In the kitchen there was a little pink backpack on the counter. Bella's. The unicorn patch caught the light. Lisa set her palm on it, not like she was scared to touch it, like it belonged to her too. Good morning, Bella, she whispered softly, almost shy. I'll take care of him, I promise. Behind her she felt movement, warmth, a presence she could already recognize without turning. Marco slid his arms around her waist from behind, pulling her back against his chest. He pressed his mouth to the side of her neck and breathed her in. Talking to my kitchen now, he murmured. She smiled. Just making promises. Yeah? His voice dropped. To who? To her, she said quietly. He stilled. He didn't speak for a long time. He just held her tighter. Then he kissed her shoulder and said, low and certain, Then I'll make you a promise back. She turned in his arms and looked up at him. He tilted her chin up with 2 fingers. I told you, sweetheart, he said. You're done thinking you're broken. You're done thinking you're less. You're done thinking you're alone. Her throat burned. You're mine, he said. Your family. You're Conti. That's never changing. Not tomorrow. Not in 5 years. Not ever. Her eyes went glossy. Yeah? He smiled. Slow. Yeah. And he sealed it with one more line, quiet and final. Told you, he whispered against her mouth. I've got enough for both of us. She kissed him like she believed it, because now, finally, she did. If you enjoy stories like this, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. That's how I'll know you truly liked it. Even if you're watching on your TV, grab a second to join this family of fans who love emotional and heartfelt stories. Your support means everything, and it helps us bring you even more tales like this one.